Hey guys, welcome to my top 10 Frankenstein movie special. Today I will take bits and pieces from a variety of films, put them together and bring them back to life.
The monster created by a man they called Mad.
It's a waste of time to try and fix a boy. It's better just accept a guy's flaws.
Instead of only ranking the movies, I will also comment on key themes of the original classic horror book.
What you reading about?
Amputation.
So, are you ready for full-blown Victorian goth vibes?
I like a bit of mist in the morning, and I like being in England when the fog rolls in, and I like Edgar Allan Poe, and I like Mary Shelley, and I like Gothic architecture, and so yeah, there is a strong goth element in some of my tastes.
Then please like and subscribe and let's start.
Come up to the lab and see what's on the slab. I see you shiver with anticipation.
It's a cozy, rainy summer night in 1816 in Geneva, Switzerland. A group of friends has to spend their vacation indoors because of the blurry weather. And what could be a better way of passing time than making up your own horror stories and try to scare each other a little bit. The 19-year-old Mary plays around with an idea that came to her in a nightmare, and just like that, she creates a myth that, exactly like her monster, became immortal. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Goose stories.
Yes, from the jug.
Let me?
No! Wait. Time enough. Chill my blood.
I remember moonlight bathed the windswept shore which bordered our ancestral estate. Our daughter was late, and I stood anxiously awaiting any sign of her return. I could see nothing. I could hear only the low moaning of the wind in the trees, a moaning that somehow drew my tired and nervous mind to a shape hanging twisted like a discarded plaything from the hideous branches.
Gothic from 1986 and creative writing. In this very eerie story about Mary Shelley and her friends telling each other spooky stories too vividly that it becomes difficult to distinguish nightmare from reality, is one of my favorites because it combines the Frankenstein monster tale with the wildlife of its author. On a metaphorical level, there are several parallels between the creative writing process and the scientific creation of this creature that challenges the established order. A lot of your own biography can be found in both Victor Frankenstein as well as the monster itself, while they express their inner thoughts in this nightmarish romantic idealism. And one thing all of the three, Mary Shelley, Victor and the monster, have in common is the feeling of being an outsider and the longing for companionship.
Some huge house, isn't it? Hello? Why are you hiding back there? You don't have to hide from me. I'm as harmless as cherry pie. Those are your hands?
Edward Scissorhands and being an outsider. This is Tim Burton's version of a humanoid character that tries to fit into an environment that makes his life incredibly hard.
Hi!
This film not only has in common the mixed up body parts and the cool gothic look, but also that the monster means well and more or less accidentally harms people along his way to finding true love.
So I created a place where all monsters could be safe from them!
Humans hate us, they're vicious, and they're very loud!
Hotel Transylvania and longing for love. Being an outsider and not having a partner is the biggest anguish for the monster. In the book there is no happy end for that, unlike in Hotel Transylvania from 2012, where there is a soulmate for actually every monster. And especially the Frankenstein couple is a very endearing one. Probably the only thing the animated monster has in common with its cinematic ancestors is his looks and the fear of fire, which has absolutely nothing to do with the original book, but very much with one of the most famous movie interpretations.
This is the story you've heard about, talked about. The spine-tingling, blood-chilling story that stuns your emotions. Frankenstein.
Don't touch that!
Frankenstein from 1931 and The Scientific Process. In this movie classic, directed by James Whale, Dr. Frankenstein's experiments are described as huge achievements. The young scientist is very well respected for his knowledge and portrayed as a charismatic and righteous genius. Yet the actual product of his work, the monster, gets out of control and spreads fear amongst the citizens. Mary Shelley constructed the experiment in a way that it's very ambivalent, both progressive yet unethical, and therefore also created a metaphor for technology that humans have difficulties to adapt first, be it electricity, the steam locomotive, the internet, or even AI. And this aspect of the story is somewhat universal, whereas others are more personal.
Be me, Dr. Frankenstein, while I pretend to be the life that you've created in order to secure funding from her who represents the research institute.
Does my father have a compulsion to court disaster?
It's taking so long. I'm hungry. You give me cold beef.
There's a lot of things about your father you may not want to know.
I told you not to dig.
Joey was the hot young thing. He and your father would clash.
My mother. Why are you crying?
You're gonna be digging. You're gonna get dirt on your fingernails. They have to remove your nails.
What are you doing? Are you threatening me?
Frankenstein's monster Frankenstein and the absent mother. The literary monster not only lacks of a romantic partner, but also he doesn't have parents. The creator exists, yes, but he rejects him, and there's no mother figure. Daniel Gray Longyen's crazy short film takes an unusual view on the matter and highlights how much the creation of the monster is also an escape mechanism to flee from family issues. There are a lot of things that are interchangeable between monster and scientist, and the first ever Frankenstein movie picks up on exact this topic. Frankenstein from 1910 and the doppelganger motif. It's fair to interpret the relationship between monster and doctor in a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde way. The first ever Frankenstein monster on screen picks exactly up on that doppelganger motif. In Frankenstein, directed by J. Seeley Dawley, the monster is quite harmless. No violence, no crimes, only scary looks, a spooked bride and a groom that has commitment issues and is scared of the wedding night. Frankenstein monster might not only be the first zombie on screen, but probably also the first F-boy in cinematic history. And if you look at the 1910 movie with a 2024 perspective, love and passion is something Victor Frankenstein struggles with. He oppresses his sexuality and doesn't seem to fit into classic gender roles. One of his 70s colleagues took a very different route in life.
For tonight is the night that my beautiful creature is destined to be born!
The Rocky Horror Picture Show and Free Love. A theme that is taken to the max in the Rocky Horror Picture Show from 1975, directed by Jim Sherman, in which the relationship of a very conservative couple, Brad and Janet, is disturbed by the reckless scientist Frankenfurter. A movie that celebrates the eccentricity and limitlessness of both the monster and his creator in a very musical way. The next two also share their common interest into music.
I'm sure it's the girl next door. She's very odd.
You're him? I can't believe you're here. Do you like music? I have the cure. Oh, not that kind of cure. They can't make you better. I mean, they can, but like emotionally.
Number 3. Lisa Frankenstein and Crime and Social Determinacy. Zelda Williams' debut horror comedy presents the monster in a very handsome romantic disguise, yet his crimes seem to be even more ruthless.
I could get the clink for life or the electric chair.
Despite instead of struggling with the unbearable socio-economic environment, the monster and its Frankenstein love interest only have to survive suburban hell. And very similar, by the way, to our scissor-handed friend Edward. The concept of using the monster's capabilities as a tool to fight unfair expectations and questionable norms of societies stays the same. What also plays a big role in the book is Rousseau's philosophical concept of the natural man that describes how civilization corrupts an essentially benevolent human into a monster. And Frankenstein's monster is a metaphor of breaking under the pressure of society escalates into crime. While the sociological debate obviously progressed since Rousseau, the monster being conflicted with conventions is still a fruitful thought experiment, and apparently Yorgos Lanthimos thought the same.
This is Mr. McCandles.
Hello, Bella.
I am Bella Baxter, and there is a world to enjoy, circumnavigate. It is the goal of all to progress.
Poor Things and Human's Nature. In Poor Things from 2023, the metaphor takes an interesting turn, given the monster, the scientifically reanimated and created creature, is a woman that actually faces the harmful image of females in society. The not civilized state of Bella Baxter's brain versus her grown-up body constantly challenges what's expected from her versus what she would naturally do as a good person and as a person who trusts people. Another thing that I appreciate so much about Poor Things is that the absent mother also plays a big part of the story, given she's not there and yet always present. And although we have only an unreliable image of her, given all we know about her is from the man in her life, and in this case this is unfortunately rather unreliable, we still feel her pain and her suffering. In Poor Things there's, by the way, a lot more Frankenstein that you would think of, because also escaping a promised marriage and then coming back is something that Victor had to go through. But now we get to number 1, my favorite Frankenstein movie, and for sure it's also the most scary and most disturbing one in the list.
So what do you do, May?
I work at the animal hospital.
When I left for vacation, my dog had 4 legs. Now, she only has 3. You can't sew it back on, can you?
I could. Oh, you crazy bitch! Actually, I kind of liked it.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
No, you would never hurt me, May.
May and the Undead. Angela Batty's performance in this psychological horror about a young woman traumatized by a difficult childhood and her increasingly desperate attempts to connect with other people take the Frankenstein experiment to a next level, and brace yourself for body horror like you've never seen it before. So there you have it. A lot of monsters for you to choose from. Thank you for watching my Frankenstein special. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. If you are also interested in more literature, please follow me on my Instagram channel, Atlanta Loves Books. See you soon. Bye.